a una nueva entrevista de músicos en Canal. Hoy tenemos con nosotros a un pedazo de pianista que vas a alucinar. Ha tocado con una cantidad de artistazos que ya verás, incluso ha participado en bandas sonoras de películas de Clint Eastwood, o sea que estamos hablando de un peso pesado. Vamos a hablar con él del estilo musical que él toca, de la capacidad de generar emociones con su instrumento y de comunicación también desde el escenario. Y además, por supuesto, le vamos a retar a los desafíos musicales que ya son sello de la casa de músicos en Canal y por supuesto veremos si supera el examen de 6 preguntas. Ya veremos qué tal lo hace todo. Y además tenemos algunas preguntas interesantes preparadas para él. Por ejemplo, a un pianista, si le pidieras que prescindiera de un dedo, ¿cuál elegiría? Pues también se lo vamos a preguntar. Directamente desde Los Ángeles, hoy nos acompaña Max Haymer. Hello, Max. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Nuria. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, I'm very happy you're here, Max. I'm sure we're gonna have a great conversation. But before we start with the interview, I'm gonna introduce you a little bit for people who are watching it.
Sounds
So
great.
you are a pianist, you are an arranger, you are a composer. You have worked with many amazing artists, including Arturo Sandoval, Jane Monheit, Mike Stern, Bobby Rodriguez, and many, 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 many others. The list of names is huge. So I could be the next hour just naming all the people you are work with. So I'm gonna stop here, but the list is wow. Besides, you also play with your own jazz trio, and you have played all around the world. And if that were not enough, you have 2 little kids. So
Yes.
what else? You don't
What else?
stop.
I mean, I guess you could say I'm living the dream. I live in sunny California, but I get to tour all around the world with artists such as Arturo and Jane, playing music that I've dreamt of playing when I was a little kid. And it feels so great to finally be able to doing that for people even in Los Angeles where I live, around the country, in New York, or even all around the world in places like Spain and all around Europe as well.
Well, that's great. That's
Yeah,
amazing. You're living like a dream life. You
yeah,
work on what you want to do. So that's great.
yeah.
Well, Max, you start playing piano when you were 7,
Mhm.
and you began to play jazz when you were 14 or so.
Right.
So I guess jazz is your favorite music. But do you listen any other kind of music besides jazz?
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Believe it or not, jazz isn't my favorite music. My favorite music, actually, I was brought up on musical theater and
Oh,
Broadway and things like that. And then I also was heavily classically trained starting at age 7, but I continued it all the way till the end of high school. So in high school, I was actually studying both jazz and classical, 2 lessons a week, very intensively.
yeah.
And I was able to take the technique from classical and the emotion from classical music, and then also the drama from Broadway and musical theater, and be able to hone that in to my jazz playing to try and make it unique for myself.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah,
going to say, yeah, yes, it's my favorite music forever and ever.
it's one of my favorites. It's
But
probably
not
my
the
favorite.
second.
It's probably my favorite to play. Let's call it that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, piano is considered the most important instrument and the most complete. And George Bernard Shaw said, the invention of piano was to music what the invention of printing was to poetry.
Mm.
You agree with that?
Yes, of course, because you have the whole orchestra at your fingertips, and it's a very tactile instrument, basically. And unlike a trumpet, where yes, there's a lot of notes you could play, but there's only 3 keys.
Yeah.
So you have to pick out notes from out of the midair and out of thin air, where I can know I touch it, a note plays. It's always going to play that note. There's no mistakes. And so because of that, you have the whole orchestra at your fingertips, and there's so many possibilities, but also no surprises.
Yeah, this is very interesting what you just said, because I was going to ask you about this, because when you are playing a piano, you can hit the wrong key, but if you hit the right key, there is no mistake. It's on tune always.
Yes.
It's not like trumpet or saxophone or any other instruments. So this make you be a little bit more sensitive to that other instruments, to perceive or notice when some instrument is out of tune.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many things that, there's many pluses that the piano have, like positives that the piano can do. I can play more notes at one time. I can do chords. But there's things that horn players can do that I can't do, which they can start a note pianissimo and then make it forte, where my note's always going to start and get softer after time. So I wish I had the ability to be able to play a note and give the drama of rising and rising and crescendo and crescendo. I can't do that on one note, which I wish I could.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Max, Dr. John, I heard sometime Dr. John said that all musicians are influenced by their favorite artist and by the musicians they listen when they were learning music. So I'm gonna take a risk, and I've been hearing you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you two of your main influences.
Okay.
If I fail, I'll take very seriously with my script writers.
Okay.
Let's see. Your main inspirations have been Michel Camilo and especially Chick Corea. Are my script writers right, or should I fart them all?
No, those are two of my favorite and most influential pianists growing up while I was learning. There are three more, I would say, beyond that.
Okay.
Which are Bill Evans, Oscar Peterson, and Johann Sebastian Bach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good names. We'll talk about Bill Evans later. So that's great. It's one of your favorites. Now we are talking about influences and all these things. Let's talk about Spanish influence in music, and especially in jazz music. I don't know if you know that Chick Corea was in love with Spanish culture and music. And he even said, my genetics are Italian, but my heart is Spanish.
This is correct.
And Jelly Roll Morton, pianist, said something very interesting. If you can't manage the tinges of Spanish in your tunes, you will never be able to get the right seasoning for jazz. What do you think about it? How do you think Spanish has influence in jazz?
Well, it's interesting because way back when jazz started, when I was learning about this, in school, they said that you needed to have African rhythms with Western harmony, and the last thing was this thing they called it Latin tinge, which is a little bit of Latin spice upon it.
Yeah.
So New Orleans, we think was only French occupied. It was also Spanish occupied for many, many years. And so that influence in the music and the style was the heavy, heavy, heavy part of the birth of this American art form. And so because of that, there is this spice and rhythm and energy. It's more the energy than anything from the harmony or the rhythm. It's more the energy of Spanish music that I think is actually an undercurrent in all jazz music.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have talked about the Spanish influence in jazz and about Chick Corea. So here comes the first music challenge for you.
Okay.
I explain you. We're gonna use the track number 1 that I sent you, and you have. It's a track that is inspired on the song Spain by Chick Corea. that I'm sure you know. The track includes drums, bass, and vibes, but it has no piano.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is to play with that track.
Sure.
You can play Spain, or you can use that track and do whatever you want, inspiring you in Spain.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's do it.
Let me turn it on.
Bravo. Wow, it's amazing seeing you play.
Thank you.
That was great. It sounds great.
Yeah, great.
Amazing. Well, very good first music challenge. We'll have another.
Yes. Okay, great.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about focal dystonia. It's a neurological disorder that is characterized by involuntary contractions of those muscles involved in play of a musical instrument.
Okay.
And in the case of pianists, it manifests as a loss of control in finger movements. Some historians think Schumann was the first pianist to have this disorder. Sobre Schumann y la distonía focal vamos a hablar dentro de un ratito. Okay. But anyway, I want you to imagine you are in a gig, and just before to jump into the stage, suddenly you have dystonia in one finger. And it's not only that you lose control of the movement of the finger, but the finger disappears at all. So if you could choose one finger, which finger would you prefer to get rid of? I know it's hard for you.
No, it's easy. It's easy. It's easy. Yeah, the ring finger on the left hand.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so easy for you to tell me?
It's because it's the least utilized finger in piano.
Oh, okay.
Especially in jazz piano, the least utilized finger in piano, because when you play a chord, you're using your fifth finger, your third finger, your second finger, and your thumb on the left hand. Everything is 5, 3, 2, 1. And so this finger is hardly ever used. It's the least used. Whereas in the right hand, I'm going to use all my 5 fingers for everything, for scales, for lines, for melodies. But the ring finger on the left hand, never need it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say, oh, this is so hard to answer. Me, all my fingers.
No, he's a great question, but that's something that I've thought about many times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's obvious you don't have dystonia and you play very, very good. So I want you to tell me which musician would you like to play with and haven't played yet. He has to be alive, and you
Sure.
only can choose one or two, mm, one or two.
I would love to play. I would love to play with Joshua Redman,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I would really like to play with Christian McBride.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And if it were possible to bring to life any dead musician, which one would you like to play with?
I would love to do a duet concert with Chick Corea. Two
I thought
pianos,
you would say to Korea. I
two
thought
pianos.
he's gonna say to Korea or
Yeah,
Oscar Peterson, maybe.
yeah.
All right. Um, well, Max, I'm fascinated with you. You were the featured pianist on Arturo Sandoval's scores for Clint Eastwood's films, The Mule and Richard Jewell. And I didn't know Clint Eastwood loves piano. And in fact, he made a documentary called Piano Blues. I don't know if you watch it. So it's very
I
good.
actually haven't seen it yet. I did not know that. I knew he was a huge. I mean, I know he's a huge fan. We've talked a lot about it. I had the pleasure of really sitting down and talking with him a little bit while I was playing piano for these movies in the scoring sessions. Very interesting man, very learned man, especially in jazz and music and the history.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Well, I was wondering if when you met him, you could play piano with him, or have you watched him to playing piano, and you can tell me if he plays good or he is
He knows how to play. I'll be political. He knows how to play the piano, so that's very impressive, especially in a man, with his long life and how old he is now, he can still sit down at the piano. And really, the one thing that's amazing about him is he understands how the piano can relate to drama, which is something that I really am interested in as well, like I talked about
bad.
before. And so when I was playing piano for the movie, he sat down next to me and he was really able to say, "This is what's happening in this scene. This is how I want the piano to translate and how to help this scene." And so it was very easy for us to communicate, and how piano can lead to the backdrop of a film.
All right, all right. Well,
Yeah,
he knows how to play. That's
yeah,
very good.
yeah. He knows how to play.
I try, and it's not easy. It's
Yeah,
not easy at all. Well, there are many successful jazz songs based on ostinato. Un pequeño inciso sobre el ostinato, por si es un concepto que no tienes muy ubicado. El ostinato es un patrón de la sección rítmica que se mantiene por norma general en toda o casi toda una composición musical. Y este patrón rítmico es algo que puede ejecutarse con la percusión o con la batería, pero el piano también tiene funciones rítmicas y no solo melódicas y armónicas. Por cierto, el ostinato en el jazz se suele denominar como bump o riff. Y como en el plano teórico estas cosas no se terminan de entender demasiado bien, vamos a verlo con algún ejemplo. Mira, o mejor dicho, escucha, esto es un ostinato. Esto también es un ostinato. Y esto, por supuesto, también es un ostinato. For example, Watermelon Man, Ponciana, The Sidewinder, Soul Sauce, and of course, Take Five. And in Latin jazz songs, we have Montuno. And in all these songs, the piano has a lot of prominence. And in the video of your amazing version of Optimistic by Radiohead, we can also perceive this idea. En la descripción del vídeo vas a encontrar todos los enlaces y los sitios donde puedes encontrar a Max Haymer. Y te recomiendo que visites su web y que veas el vídeo de su versión de Optimistic, porque es una auténtica delicia. Why do you think these songs based on ostinato get so much success and are so popular?
Great question. I think it goes back to the earliest, time of man, because it's very rhythmic and steady. And it comes out, let's say we had no musical instruments, but people could bang on rocks, there'd be rhythms and steady rhythms. And I think the idea of a steady beat comes from the heart, like a steady heartbeat. And so it's very universal, and it's as long, it's withstood the test of time. A steady beat and a steady groove trumps all.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, your version of Optimistic it's incredible. I guess you are very proud of that, because it's amazing. It's really
Thank you.
Max, along with this, there is a famous song by Horace Silver that in some way we can find an ostinato. It's Song for My Father.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the second music talent.
All right, let's try it.
Okay, we're doing more or less like in the first music challenge. So the track is based on the song, and you can play. Get louder your sound of the track of your computer while playing. So
I have it. Yeah, I have it on my my phone. I'll put it right next to this microphone here.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we do it. Okay, let's see what you do. Wonderful. Incredible, Max.
Thank you
so much. It's great. Really, really great.
Awesome.
Bravo, bravo, bravissimo.
Thank you, Nuria.
All right. You are doing very good at music challenges.
Thank you.
I'm impressed, really. Max, I would like to talk with you with all the great pianists in jazz history, but we don't have all that time.
Right.
So let's talk about one of them that I know you like, Bill Evans.
Yes.
there was a friend of Bill who asked 47 jazz musicians who they thought was the best jazz pianist in history. And Bill Evans was considered by the 47 like the second best one. The first one was Art Tatum. So Bill Evans was so brilliant, but he died very young because of the drugs. And this is something that I wonder about, because how come it's possible to be so brilliant and amazing pianist if drugs affect mind and concentration and precision? And really, I don't get it. But do you think Bill Evans' style could have been different if he hadn't consumed drugs, or even he could have been a better pianist without drugs? Or drugs were somewhere helpful?
Ooh, that's a very heavy question. It's kind of what we call a chicken and egg scenario, I would say. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Where basically, did the drugs and the environment that he was in when he was playing in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
in a very hard time for this music, politically and just socioeconomically, that did that lead to his haunted style? Because we love Bill Evans because it's just a very melancholy, haunted style. And was he using the drugs because he was haunted? And did that lead to his beautiful playing? If he didn't have that, would he have had better technique but not the emotion and the hurt? Which I think that lends itself to why we love his playing so much. So it's not an answer I could give you, but maybe his technique would have been better if he laid off the drugs, but he wouldn't have the story
Yeah.
that we get,
Okay.
and the pain from his playing that I think people really gravitate towards too. When we see a movie, we're not just going to want to see dramas all the time. We want to see comedies. We want to laugh. We want to be scared and see a horror movie or a thriller. Bill Evans is the type of music that we really want to sit down and feel that hurt, but we want to feel it.
Yeah.
We're not trying to shy away from it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what communicated that music.
Mm-hmm.
And music is communication. So there is music that communicates joy, and other one communicate
Of course.
words. So okay, we're talking about communication, and you're a musician and you play music, but you communicate with music. And I want to talk with you about communication in music. Okay?
Sure.
I heard once saying Arturo Sandoval that instrumental music is the most universal way of communication. And I agree with that. And I think it's especially when we talk about piano. What do you think about it? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Because we all hear the same vibrations from the sound. And so it affects our emotions. It's a very, even a scientific thing. A certain sound will vibrate and resonate within us. And every human can hear those sounds, can feel those sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't hear, look at Beethoven, feeling the vibrations and able to write music and understand music without hearing. There is a vibration that passes through our bodies, through every human being and every living thing, and that's why it's universal.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about the vibration, and that's right.
Yeah.
That's important. Right. Well, I've interviewed Will Bram and Mark Walker and Ted Baker, and all of them told me about the communication between musicians and the audience when you are on the stage. And the thing is, guitar and drums and the saxophone and the trumpet, all the instruments are looking at the audience. But the piano and the pianist usually is not looking at the audience. It's like the audience is there, and you are like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to ask you, how do you communicate or create the communication with the audience if you can look at them, or maybe you tell me your communication on the stage is with the rest of the musicians but not with the audience? How do you feel this, the communication?
Exactly what I said. The vibrations. Let's say there was a pianist like Tete Montelieu, the Spanish pianist, or Ray Charles, who can't see. You know, how do they communicate? How are they getting the energy? It's through the music. It's through the sounds. It's through the energy. And I can hear if I'm looking here and the audience is behind me. I can tell if they're rowdy. I can tell if they're silent. Silence also speaks volumes, especially if you're playing a ballad and you can't hear anything and you know there's people there. That means you know you are communicating with them because they're listening to what you have to say.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, great answer. I like your answer.
Yeah.
And Max, how what do you feel on the stage? I mean, you get moved every time you are on the stage and you are playing, or there's sometimes you are like, I don't feel like playing like right now. Or when you are on the stage, everything is like, so I don't know, like magic, and you live it in a very special way. What do you feel when you are on the stage?
I might feel that I don't want to play before I sit down and play the piano, but every time, as soon as I play the first note, I can't help but just give it my all. I can't do half speed. I can't do quarter speed. I have to go, 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 go. Because it's my favorite thing to do.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Um, do you think, Max, the piano has a greater capacity to move and generate more and deeper feelings in the audience than other instruments?
No, no. I think a cello, a clarinet, they all have the capacity to pull something out of a human being that makes them like feel joy, feel something. They all have separate thing. It could just like you could hear a orchestra play, and then there's just a cello line, and you could be like, oh, or a French horn line that really moves you. So I don't think, I would love to say that my instrument is the only one that could do that, but I think every instrument has the ability to bring an emotion out of someone.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Because
Yeah.
I I thought not the only one, but piano has like a greater capacity to do it. But it's
Maybe
interesting.
it's all about the environment and the context, right? You could be moved by a solo violin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
All right, all right.
yeah.
Maurice Ravel said, "Great music must come from the heart. Any music created by technique and brain alone is not worth the paper it is written on." My question is, how do you make music come from your heart when you are improvising? How much is inspiration and how much is technique?
It's interesting because it's another one of those chicken and egg situations. Because if you have more technique, you have a bigger toolbox that allows you to express what's coming from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have all the technique, you're not going to be able to speak the language as well. If I don't have the grammar, if I don't have the syntax, if I don't have any of that, I can't express myself as clearly as I would want to. So it's important. You want to have the technique to give the heart or give the emotion.
Yeah,
But so not it's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah, they
like
both work in
balance.
tandem. Yeah, exactly. It's a balance.
All right, all right. Okay, Max, we are almost at the end of the interview, but before we finish, I have another challenge for you.
Okay.
And this is a very special challenge because it's a quiz. I'm going to ask you 6 questions about jazz, piano, and general music knowledge.
Oh no, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna
How
fail.
you do it? I have my red pen ready to write down your
Okay.
first and your right answers. So
All right.
let's see how you do it. Let's go with the first one. I
Okay.
warn you with this one. Will Bram and Mark Walker failed this one, so be careful.
Okay.
All right. When I saw you in Valladolid with Arturo Sandoval last summer, you played a little bit of Hot House. The question is, who was the composer of Hot House?
Uh, Victor something.
Victor something?
I don't know. I don't know.
This is a new answer.
I know who wrote the piece that Hot House is based on.
Oh, okay, tell me.
Well, because Hot House is a melody based on the song "What Is This Thing Called Love," and that was written by Cole Porter.
No, it's not that one, and it's not Victor something either.
What is it?
It's Tad Dameron.
Tad Dameron. Same thing.
Will and Mark said G.C. Gillespie.
No, who stole it from Cole Porter?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, because it's that's the actual tune. But then Tad Dameron did da 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 da. But it's based on the original chord changes of "What Is This Thing Called Love" by Cole Porter.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you
Give me a half. Give me half.
point. Half a
Sounds good.
I'm gonna write it down. You
Yeah.
have a point. Great. Let's go with the second one. The pianist Oscar Peterson had a piano in his house, of course.
Yeah.
And his piano was an Imperial Bosendorfer. That's the brand.
Yes.
It's German.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did say it right.
You did it correct. Yeah.
All right. And it was specifically made for him. The thing is, Oscar died in 2007, and this piano could be in a museum, but it's not in a museum. So the question is, can you tell me who has the piano of Oscar Peterson?
Easy. And I've played it.
Oh, really?
And I've played it. And it's Arturo Sandoval's house.
Right. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to give you the whole point.
Whole point. Yeah.
Great. Oh, what did you feel playing that piano? It was like, oh my God.
It's one of the most difficult pianos I've ever had to play in my life.
Why?
The touch, the action of the piano is so heavy.
Oh, really?
Which makes it even more impressive because Oscar Peterson could fly on that piano and play it with such ease. And when I sit down on it and play it, and I can play hard and I can play fast, but it's one of the most difficult pianos to do that on ever.
Oh, wow.
So it makes it incredible that Oscar was able to do that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Arturo has it, and he can practice, and that's why he plays so good piano. Because Arturo plays everything, a trumpet and piano and everything. It's like you should tell him, go with the trumpet and leave the piano alone. That's my job.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, he's the boss. He can do whatever he wants.
All right. Well, let's go with the third one. You are doing very good, huh? You are doing very good. We talked before about Robert Schumann and his dystonia. Probably he has dystonia, but there is another possible reason because of his problem in his fingers. And it is said that he couldn't stand that his wife played the piano better than him. So he designed and made a weird gadget to exercise his fingers to play better, but he messed it up, and at the end was like awful. Bueno, es que hay algunos historiadores que sostienen que lo que le pasó a Schumann fue que se fabricó un extraño artilugio para fortalecer los dedos, porque después de estar pensando él, ¿cómo es posible que mi mujer toque mejor que yo? Pues llegó a la conclusión de lo que tenía que hacer era entrenar más los músculos de los dedos anulares, sobre todo. Así que se fabricó un cacharro que, bueno, no sé exactamente qué física tenía, pero tenía algunas resistencias, unas poleas, no sé qué, para entrenar por las noches los pequeños músculos de los dedos. El objetivo era ganar virtuosismo en el piano, pero lo que acabó consiguiendo fue justamente lo contrario. Vamos, que llegó a atrofiarse los dedos de tal manera que no pudo volver a tocar el piano. So the question is, what's the name of Schumann's wife?
Clara.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. I'm gonna give you an A+ if you continue like this.
Yeah.
Another point. Very good, very good. All right, the next one is a question about Take 5. Who was the composer of Take 5?
Paul Desmond.
Oh my goodness, Max, very good. I thought it was like a little bit tricky. I thought you were gonna say.
Lots of people think Dave Brubeck. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You study a lot, huh? Very good, very good, very good. All right. The next one. For this question, I'm gonna ask you to listen something. So give me a second, please.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows.
All right, enough. Now, I'm not gonna ask you who is singing because I know you know is Monheit. And I'm not gonna ask you the name of the song, and I'm sure you know is Honeysuckle Rose. I'm gonna ask you, who is the composer of this song?
Fats Waller.
Oh my goodness. Very good.
And Christian McBride is playing bass.
Oh really?
Yep.
All right. Well, Max, you didn't fail. You failed just a half of the question.
Yeah, and I got extra credit on this one telling you the bass player, so I think I'm perfect score now.
All right, I'm gonna give you another half point.
Another half point.
Great. That's great. You are doing awesome. We are in the last question. This one is the most important one because you can win 4 points.
Okay.
And you can win the opportunity to come back for another interview. So,
all right.
Be careful with this one.
Okay.
Focus. Let's see. I'm gonna ask you something about contemporary classical music. Okay. I'm sure you know John Cage. He's one of the most influential American composers of 20th century. He has a song, let's say, that is called 433. And I want to ask you if you can tell me in what key is written.
4 minutes and 33 seconds is written in, I'm going to guess no key.
Well, very good, very good. There is no key. That's here. There are 2 possible answers. Like there is no key, or as there is no key signature. We can understand that is in C major.
So that would be, it would be no key. Yeah.
Well, very, very good. Bravo, bravo. You passed the quiz with the whole points. So great. A++, I give you. And you have the opportunity to come back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great. I'm very happy. And I want to ask you something about this song. Do you think this is music? What do you think about this composition?
Yes, I do.
Really?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When this is something that I've been talking to when I play with my trio, I start the show by saying, you, the audience, are as much a part of this performance as us on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Because you add to the energy of what's going to happen musically, and also just the intricacies of you putting a glass down or dropping something or a plate falling. These are all parts of the musical experience and how they affect the sound. So 4 minutes and 33 seconds, even though nothing's happening on the piano, there's still sound happening and there's still musical vibrations happening, whether it's the air conditioning in the theater or a dog barking or a phone ringing or keys jiggling. This is still part of the musical experience.
Okay, that's an interesting answer.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this and I thought, this is not music. There is no music here. It's like if I write a book and there is no words inside. This is not music.
No, it's allowing for the the outer music and the outer sounds to be heard. That's why 4 minutes and 33 seconds is different every time it's performed.
That's right. You're very smart, Max. Well, now I like this song because I can say that I play it as well as you.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Busca en YouTube John Cage 433 y a ver si te quedas tan patidifuso como yo. Y si esto a ti te parece una composición musical. Búscalo y me cuentas en los comentarios. Pero después de ver la entrevista completa, ¿eh? No me hagas trampas. Well, Max, before we finish, I'm going to ask you something, but I don't want you to answer me very quickly. Because I want you to tell me if you are enjoying the interview, if you are having fun, if you are having a good time, but I don't want you to tell me with words. I want you to feel free to express with piano if you are having fun, if you are liking this interview, or do you think this interview sucks? So, if you like it, as I'm Spanish, I want you to play something sabroso. And if you are not liking and you are not enjoying, you can play a funeral march if you want to.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's see. Max, I like it a lot. You are having fun for sure.
And fun. And actually, that was for you and everyone in your country. That was a song, an original composition of mine entitled Toledo.
Oh, really?
Where my ancestors back in the 1400s were from. Yeah.
For you. Thank you very much. I'm very happy you're
Thank you.
at this interview because I
Yes.
want to come back. And now, Max, the last question is, you want the opportunity to come back, but the real question is, would you like to come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, great. Well, now, Max, thank you very, 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 very much for your time and for your kindness and for playing and for this so amazing time we have together. Thank you very, 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 very much. And it's great to have the chance to chat with you. I will have a second part of the interview, and I'm gonna work on a most difficult quiz because
Yeah.
you didn't fail any questions. And I like when I write down he failed.
Yeah. Right.
So thank you very much, Max.
Thank you.
Take care, and I hope to see you soon, and we keep in touch anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Nuria.
Bye. Bueno, ¿qué? ¿Te ha gustado? ¿Has disfrutado de la entrevista? Espero que por lo menos tanto como yo. Oye, qué tío, ¿eh? Que las has acertado casi todas las preguntas. Bueno, espero que te lo hayas pasado bien, que hayas pasado un buen rato, que te haya animado a reflexionar sobre ciertos componentes y aspectos de la música, de la comunicación y de las emociones, y que te haya descubierto algunos datos interesantes. Y ya sabes, si la has disfrutado, pues imagino que ya sabes lo que te voy a decir. Dale like, comenta, comparte con quien quieras el vídeo, que así nos ayudas a llegar a más gente, que YouTube en esto es duro de pelar, ¿eh? Y muchas gracias por tu compañía y nos vemos en el próximo vídeo aquí en Músicos en Canal.